Nature is awesome. From big to small, there's so much adventure, from the deep and dangerous wilderness to your own backyard. We take you on a journey inside a world like you have never seen.
Right there. Oh.
Ready to join us for a walk on the wild side? That's wild. Let's go. Season 1, powered by Constellation Energy. Jay Wolf, pro wildlife photographer and expert, all-around good guy. He lives for this stuff. I'm Gary Metivier, author and storyteller, and a big-time love for anything outdoors. We are teaming up to take you inside this wild world of ours. Hold on, here we go. Owlet Rescue. Baby owls hope to go home. Our buddy Jay is a master of capturing owls in their habitat. Just look at these beauties. We even called one into my backyard.
No, look at this. Look at this.
Getting shots of babies is a bit harder. What if we could get an up-close look to discover more about these amazing creatures? Okay, let's go.
We're on our way now to catch up with Tammy with the Wildlife Rescue and Rehab. She has some baby owls that actually were blown out of a tree. She's going to show us what happens next.
Tamra, you can call her Tammy, president of the nonprofit Hog Capital Wildlife Rescue and Rehab, because she happens to live in the hog capital of the world with her husband Jim, aka Raptor Man. This is why they call him that. Dedicating their lives to rescuing and rehabbing wildlife, always on call, ready to hit the road when they're not holding down several jobs to support this passion, which is unpaid. They get help from volunteers like Jennifer, who show the animals some love.
I just have this serious love for the raptors, the owls, the eagles, the hawks. I can't tell you what it is that I love about them. A squirrel used to come up the fence and we were hand feeding it. It was a contest between Jim and I to hand feed this squirrel. And that's when we figured out we had a love for wildlife and that we needed to take it farther.
Like this baby squirrel that just arrived, or this little guy that took a liking to my new beard. But we're here for the owls, so let's get back to work.
We start with the great horn because they're the first to hatch in the season. Then it goes barred owls and screech owls. We've yet to get any of those in yet, but I'm sure they're coming.
Why? Why do they come?
They'll fall out of the nest. You get a big wind, they'll fall out. They'll get to a certain age and they'll start branching, which means they leave the nest and they'll walk out on a branch. They'll lose their balance and fall.
Hold on, rewind a second. Did you see what fell just as she said the word? Yeah, that's a baby fox. We'll see him or her a little bit later. Back to the owls.
If they go to the ground, then there's a chance that a predator could get them. So if somebody finds them, we have to either try to put them back up in the tree or we have to take them into rehab until they're flighted.
So with these two, now nicknamed Crusher and Bruiser, because you know owls are like at the top of the food chain. They can even take down an eagle. Well, these guys fell out of a tree. Tammy got the call to help. Her job, check for injuries and help them survive until they can be released back into the wild. They start with baby bites of mice and rats. And before long, this happens. These guys feasting on several every day.
I think that the two great horned owls so far, we've spent about $300 on rodents for them. We buy frozen rodents for them. Sometimes we get rabbits, but mostly it's rodents.
And a little tiny owl like this, a baby owl, how much will that eat in a day?
In a day, 2 to 3 weaned rats a day.
And if you think eating rats is kind of gross, you should smell their breath and hear what they do with the leftovers.
It goes into what's called a crop. In the crop is where it sits and all these juices come up and that digests what they need for nutrients. The rest of it will form into what we call a pellet, and they will then release that, vomit it, chuck it, whatever you want to call. That's what they do with that pellet.
We're trying to get one to chuck one on command, but it didn't.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Raptor Man tells me, though, that they have really bad breath because of that.
Oh my goodness, those pellets stink really bad.
With a little help from their friends, they just keep growing, putting on weight, learning the basics of flight. And here now, a couple months old, they're about ready to go home. But not before we get to see some more cool stuff about the owls, like their eyes.
It's called a nictating membrane. Bald eagles have it also. It's a protective layer for the eyes. If they're attacking prey and prey fights back, that protective layer will kick in and help.
Or maybe if they're flying through trees or something?
Yes.
And their telltale sign that you or something else is just getting too close. Check out the warning signals they give when we take away the partition and they see our little baby fox in the cage next door. Yeah, wouldn't want them mad at me. So with the break in the weather, it is time to go home. At least we hope so.
From the time you take either a baby great horned or a baby barred owl, that you can take it and still be able to take it back to its parents and they'll accept them back.
Wow, so tonight we're going to see if we can find the parents to release them.
We're going to try to call in the parents. There's no guarantees, but we're going to try.
So the weather has to be just right. So tell me about the weather
We need a 3-day
pattern.
weather window.
3-day.
Yeah, you don't want them to get stormed on, snowed on, anything like that right off the bat. Maybe just call in the adults first and then start the begging call. See if we can get them to come in.
We wait for hours. It gets darker and darker. Tough call. Do we turn on the lights so we can see?
We may resort to the chicken dance soon. We'll see.
No sign of mom or dad, and time is running out. It could be weeks until the right conditions come again. By then, it could be too late for the parents to take them back.
It should happen, right? Odds are.
But I said no guarantees.
No guarantees.
We go through this every time.
And then,
Oh, there it is again. There it is again.
That was a double hoot. That is an owl.
hear that?
That right there? So that's not the call. That's,
Very well be right there in the tree.
we weren't sure it was going to happen.
Here's those
But she's
two.
here.
Yep.
Bruiser, the male owl, gone off to explore. Crusher waits. Mom moves in close. Now, even if she doesn't fly to her, she knows her babies are back. She will move in after we leave.
So what'll happen next? Mom will come
They'll come to her.
once we get out of here?
She'll be fine once we
And
know
they'll take
her.
Yeah.
She probably got quiet because she was watching every move you made.
So successful release and
Oh, yeah.
So they leave a bag of rats just in case. Tammy and Raptor Man head for home, ready for the next call. What will it be? One thing's for sure, it's going to be wild. Eagle, pelicans, and so much more. But of course, they gotta eat. One of our friends is about to go to bat for another. How can Jeremiah help her wildlife rescue and rehab? You guessed it, that's wild. That's wild. Hey, if you got a minute, please leave a comment and subscribe so you can see more when the next series comes out. And check out our videos and photos and much more behind the scenes on our Facebook page now. That's Wild with Gary Metivier. We're also on Twitter, Instagram, and other platforms.